Hi, I'm Paul Phrampus, Director of the Winter Institute for Simulation Education and Research at the University of Pittsburgh. Many of you know us as WISER. One of the questions that we get asked during faculty development training, during our debriefing workshops and advanced debriefing workshops, is to confirm or to answer a question that many people have. And that is, how long should the debriefing last? Well, friends, my favorite answer during any simulation program is, it depends. Some people espouse that for every minute of simulation, there is X number of minutes of debriefing that is necessary. And this is all bunk. It's not supported in any scientific literature. And if you try to conform, you will probably decrease the efficiency and perhaps decrease the effectiveness of your simulation. How long should a debriefing last? The debriefing should, in an ideal world, last until you feel, as the faculty member, you've accomplished the learning objectives of the simulation that you set out to do. That sounds simple. Maybe not so much. Lots of facilitation skills come into accomplishing learning objectives, but one that is paramount is, before you begin any simulation encounter or any debriefing encounter, that you as the faculty member have an exact, clear idea and understanding of the goals and objectives of that scenario. What are you trying to accomplish? That helps to drive the debriefing time frame. Structuring your debriefing such that it has some phases will help guide you with deciding how long the debriefing needs to be. But trust me, friends, there is no magic formula for this. We find in general that as the level of the learner increases, so as you go from student to expert or practicing professional, there's probably a little less debriefing time needed. As you increase the complexity of the scenario or increase the number of learning objectives, then that generally requires a little bit longer of a debriefing time, particularly if you're going to cover objectives that have many different people bringing their opinion into it. Team training, team leadership, and those kinds of things tend to increase the debriefing time. But when you think about it in general, it doesn't make sense that there would be a magic formula. There are so many different reasons to do simulation and so many different learner groups that simulation is constructed for, that it's practically impossible to come up with a magical ratio. Now, I idealistically said we're going to debrief until the learning objectives are accomplished. That is our goal. That's what we strive for. But all of us live in a world with operational realities. Depending on the environment that you're doing the simulation in, depending on the learners and the demand on the learner's time, meaning, are they in your simulation center for a brief amount of time or for an all-day class? Are you doing this debriefing on the hospital ward where everybody is chomping at the bit to get back to work, or there's a lot of operational pressures to get people back to work? These are other factors that come into the debriefing time. So I always say we want to design for the ideal, but then we have to conform to the operational realities that we find ourselves in. So when people do really, really well in a simulation, maybe we can decrease the debriefing time. But it's important to remember that the debriefing time never goes to zero. We always need to do debriefing so that we can engage in a conversation to ensure even those participants that did extremely well in a simulation, we need to make sure they know why they did well. We need to make sure that they are clear on the fact that they did well and that they are clear on the things that they did well. So even if you see somebody do a scenario, quote unquote, perfectly, there are still room for debriefing and still important reasons to do the debriefing. So I hope this helps a little bit. One is to dispel some myths and rumors about a magical ratio of time frames from simulation to debriefing. It's bunk. Don't try to believe it and don't try to conform to it. You will decrease the efficiency and the effectiveness of your simulation. So I hope you found this tidbit useful. Until next time, happy simulating.